What's up, Collective fam? It's your boy Tony the Toy Rat. I will admit I've opened this up once before, but it was with our friend Jim Shooter, so you can't blame me. Without further ado, let's pop open the Human Torch. Basic housekeeping, you guys. If you're a box keeper on the resin stuff, I am a box keeper. It is 15 by 12 by 12. So this is going to take up a lot of room wherever you're putting your boxes. So just kind of keep that in the back of your head. Without further ado, let's pop it open. So like I said, I did have the chance to open this up and have some candid conversations with our friend Jim Shooter, and well, I'm gonna let you guys go back and take a look at the interview with Jim. He had lots of great things to say, some not so great things to say, and this particular statue was not the most high grade on his list. I'm just gonna say that off jump there. So. I do have the certificate of authenticity. This is number 475. Like I always show you guys, you get COA with every one of these Premier Resin Statues from Diamond Select Toys. I've already cracked it open, so we're going to slide open the styrofoam here. And what I will tell you right off jump is, unlike most of the Diamond Select pieces that you will buy, this does come in two pieces. And one of them is a super heavy, super cool resin fire flame up base. I mean, not for nothing, check that out. And then the other part here, and this did have plastic on it again. So it's a really basic pin situation. You can see there's two pins here at the base of his feet. That's pretty much all there is. You can see that. And then at the top here, be gentle with this. There's actually two holes. There's two holes in there. So, I mean, two pins, two holes. It's kind of simple. Let's go ahead and stick them in there. And voila, we have the entirety of the statue there. I mean, it's first glance, I'm going to tell you right now, it strikes an imposing figure. The other thing you need to be immediately concerned with, guys, is how tall is this, all told? So I kept the tape measure out here, and it looks like I'm hitting just at 20 inches. So from the base, hold on, let me make sure I got that right. I am so sorry. I was counting from the top of the base. It's 21 and a half, 22 inches. 22 inches. Now, it's a slender figure. It's really slender. All the weight is in this cool, twisting, fiery base. So hopefully you guys have seen that, and I think I want to be quiet for just a second and give you guys a full body spin, let you sort of soak it in and digest it, and then we'll have a seat and we'll talk about what's great and what's not so great. Here we go. Okay, Collective fam, you've had a second or two to ooh and ah over the grandeur of this statue. There are lots of things that I like about it. There are a couple of things that I'm not sure I do like about it. But overall, out of the cheese, they only get 3 total. This one gets a good 2.5 cheeses for me. I think they gave it a really hard attempt at giving you what the old looking Johnny Storm would have been. And I'm talking about, this is back in the days of Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. And I think they tried to stay true to a lot of that while giving you some really, really new, really clear power sets that look like they were birthed in the 90s, and they can contend with the artwork that you might be seeing today. So a little bit older statue looking, some sort of statuesque, a little bit newer stylistically on the bottom. And I don't hate them for that. I think it's really, really cool. Now, some of you are going to note this isn't really the Human Torch, because the Human Torch was an android. Did you know that? First, he was an android. And that was drawn for Timely Comics back in 1939. And this was re envisioned by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee in 1961. So I believe he made his birth into the Fantastic Four #1, and that's where you first get to see Johnny Storm. Another little tidbit you guys may or may not know: he's supposed to be the same age as Spider-Man. And they're supposed to be really cool friends. So it's going to be interesting to see how they integrate the Fantastic Four into the Spider-Man universe, because Sony keeps screwing stuff up over there. So I'm hoping that we'll get some sort of team up in the near future that will give us a Tom Holland, Spider-Man and Human Torch, whoever the Human Torch is going to be. All right, that being said, let's take a look at this statue, guys, and see what's cool about it. So like I said, super dynamic statue. I think the first thing I want to note about it is that it's translucent. So they made these beautiful orange and amber colors all throughout, if you can see that, guys. I mean, I'm not going to keep picking it up and put it in the camera's face, but you can see that there's a trail of dark to lights, and it changes throughout where the fire hits on the ground, and it's obviously propelling him forward, releasing him from gravity, which is super cool. And in that, you can see there's this whole twist. So it doesn't just come like straight up, like you might note a rocket would come straight up, but it comes in like a body was twisting and made it to a point where it's taking off like a rocket. So that part I love. I really do. I love the way that if you have a light behind it, because it's translucent, it really does feel like flame on, which happens to be Johnny Storm's catchphrase, right? So flame on is what's actually happening right now. I'm not sure if they took this from any particular pages or this was inspired by. I'm going to say it was probably inspired by. Okay, so stuff I really like. In terms of the body layout, the way they have him laid out, his chest is forward, his arms are back, and it looks like he's starting to sort of balance himself within the flames as he is projected upward. It's sort of a bodybuilder pose. Everyone I've shown this to so far kind of agrees with me. Now, we have this super cool twist where I feel like they lost it here was in not keeping with the level of dynamic aspects that this fire actually has. So I would think that he should be emerging sort of at an angle, maybe foreshortening one leg, lifting it up in the air with a charging format and one arm pushing forward. Now, I think that might have been a difficulty based on leverage and how you place the piece back in. So I think I understand some of their choices that they made here. I'm not sure I agree with some of those choices. Back when Kirby drew the Fantastic Four, he had all these line striations in them. It's really difficult for you guys to see, but they did etch them up pretty good. So that's really cool. And just like the base, the figure itself is translucent, only they went with a deeper, richer color. So it looks like he's sort of molten lava hot. And as I move him around, hopefully the ring lights are providing some of what I'm talking about right now. You can see sort of the center of his chest. That's not illuminated by anything but the background lighting. So, I mean, it's just really cool. It's a really cool piece. I can only knock it but so much, guys. The piece is pretty cool. I do wish they would have went with a different pose going up. I don't even think Superman would strike this pose as he was just floating up into the air. So, like I said, he strikes an imposing figure. I also wish that because it came in two pieces, I think another missed opportunity might have been to have flames somewhere else on his body. He's known for trailing flames behind him. Flames around his head somehow or another would have been cool. Maybe flames around the fists, right around these areas right here. Maybe those would have been really cool. Um, I think that's probably a little bit of a missed opportunity. They do have some flames along the sides here, and I don't want to be a stickler for anything, but okay, you can say they're flaming up at that point, which means they're headed upward. But all the rest of these flames are headed downward because you would assume he's pushing up, which is going to push those flames down. And on the legs, the flames are up, whereas the rest of these flames, their spikes are down, right? Because he's pushing hard off the ground. So these must be little flames that are in formation right now, like a snapshot in time, maybe. I don't know. Okay, I'm just sort of thinking that's a little bit of a misstep, and maybe we should have paid a little more attention to detail at that point of it. But man, listen, here again, this is a really cool piece. It's just a cool piece. He's got the burned in Fantastic Four logo into his chest up here at the top. I love the simplicity of the base because outside of the fire, which is really weighty, but outside of that fire, there's nothing else on the base. So you really do want to pay attention to what happened, and you're really following your eye, the travel of that flame, all the way up to the figure. And then when the light is on him, he's really hard to turn away from. He's really hard to turn away from. So man, this is one of those where I would have bought it and I would have said, okay. I would have questioned, a couple of the things choice wise that I just talked about with you guys. But then at the end, I would sit there and be extremely happy. I'd be proud of this one. So this is the Premier Resin Statue from Diamond Select Toys. You can always pick yours up from them. And I hope you guys can appreciate this one as much as I do. If you want to know what Jim Shooter thought about it, well, you'll have to watch that interview. I'll say he had more things to say about it than he didn't give it the high marks that I gave it. Okay, so if you want to see what one of these guys who are on the creators lists thinks about some of the toys, we had a really great review, and you should go check that out. All right, so this is Tony the Toy Rat for Diamond Select Toys and the Human Torch, and I am out.